What's good? What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay School's Phantom Man. And right now, I got this topic for you today talking about winners take action, the rest just sit back and let life happen to them. And a lot of the times, people let life happen to them based upon their early psychological conditioning and based upon that precursor, based upon those early experiences that program them to see, to feel, to speak, to do things in a particular way. They allow that pattern, that familiar pattern, to just go on and on and on forever. And then at some point, you look in the mirror and you're like, damn, you know what? I could have done something about my life, but then I didn't do anything about it because of a lack of action, right? So that's why it's important to take action, because action literally reconfigures your mind. It's good to have positive thoughts and feelings on your mind. That can be extremely powerful, but it's also powerful to take action. Because if you really think about it, first of all, the mental realm happens first before the physical realm. So it's very powerful to have powerful thoughts and feelings of positivity, things of that nature, right? To actually feel, see, speak yourself into whatever circumstance, situation you wish to be. You know what I'm saying? It's very powerful, but it's also very, very, very powerful to take action, because when you take action, you literally recalibrate yourself. You literally force yourself into the spotlight you're afraid of, and then those thoughts and feelings of fear, guilt, shame, all these low vibrational things, it starts to wither away. So the most powerful thing a person can do is to take action, is to actually be a doer, is to actually do the damn thing. Do the damn thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's probably one of the most powerful things. But I'm a big, big, big supporter and a big, big fan of just having a positive mentality. Because a lot of the times, just being positive and having that perception will have you just see and feel and speak things, and by the time you be subconsciously doing things that are aligning with your highest possible good or your highest possible reality. See, a lot of the times we're introduced to our, because this earth itself, depending on your family and things like that, I'm assuming you're watching this video, you probably came from a family that's low vibrational, probably worked up a lot of fear in you, worked up a lot of stress, worked up a lot of doubt, worked up a lot of just low vibrational shame, guilt, all these like low things and shit like that, right? Then when a person becomes older, well, they have to think about, damn, well, do I want to continue to be these things? Because a lot of these things we no longer need to be, right? But people have a hard time getting out of these things. People have a hard time changing these things and shit like that, right? So, I wrote a bunch of stuff down here, man. So I'm just going to go through it. And yeah, some powerful information we got. So most human beings view themselves as victims of their early circumstances that shaped and formed their identity, how they view themselves and the world around them. Once a person is born and over time conditioned, once that momentum takes off, it can be very overwhelming and daunting to change the trajectory of one's reality, especially if that narrative and story you tell yourself is frequently subconsciously repeated, which for the most part it is. Because that narrative lives in a very subconscious rooted place. So until a person gets to the root of why do they do what they do, why do they feel the way they feel, why do they see life the way they see it, until you get to the root, until you pluck it out from the root, you'll just be kind of experiencing life in that psychological conditioning until you deal with the root of that. You know what I'm saying? What's reality? Especially if that narrative and story you tell yourself is frequently subconsciously repeated. The mind itself is an oracle of infinity potential. What you pay attention to with your chakras and pray on energetically is the sense of being you embody and therefore attract. A lot of the times when people lack self-awareness, they do not self-reflect and peel the layers that occupy their minds. In fact, if you went through traumatic events as a child, your brain will most likely bury those sensations and emotions in the subconscious realm. And when you do start processing these energies that are actually controlling your reactions and behavior, especially if it's coming from a low vibrational space, right? Because a lot of the times, like, if you went through traumatic negative events in your childhood, your mind, your brain will literally seal these things away. Like, it will not be like, it will be just very subconscious. You'll react to stuff a certain way, you'll behave a certain way, but you won't really know why. But it's all because of that subconscious program that's happening. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the interesting things that the mind does, one of the interesting things that the brain does is, when you go through something extremely negative and you can't process it, it literally kind of shuts down and it puts you in survival mode because of the inability or the lack of awareness to process those emotions, to go back and process these things. So these things like become like a part of you on like a very subconscious, below the detection threshold level type shit. You know what I'm saying? So until the person go back, well, you don't really need to go back, because I don't believe in like being a psychiatrist. Oh, go back, revisit your childhood, you know, remember all the bad things that happened to you, blah blah. No, all that's doing is just reconditioning you and retraining you to, you know, continue to, you know, go about these things, because you actually want to get rid of these things, not remember these things. So really what you want to put on your mind is thoughts and feelings of positivity, a positive state of being, a positive state of mind and shit like that, right? And then also combining that with taking massive action. Because a psychologist, a psychiatrist will just sit there and tell you to, you know, sit back and remember all the bad things that happened to you, revisit these things. No, you don't want to revisit these things. You want to just process these things and like pluck these things out from the root, you know? So a person has a sense of shame about themselves. If a person has if a person is carrying the emotions of fear on themselves, if a person is feeling guilty and whatnot and stuff like that, right? Then you want to process those emotions and get these things out of you as soon as possible, because like how you feel is creating your field, and how you feel is literally attracting and is attracting things to you and stuff like that, right? Like what you feel literally becomes your aura. Like think about a lot of, like if a person's in a low vibrational state of being, like literally the sweat that comes off your body is probably like more fear-based. I know it sounds weird and shit like that, but think about when a person is anxious, or there's a certain energy, there's a certain aura that they're releasing from their body and mind unknowingly. And what that person is unknowingly signaling is, hey everybody, I'm afraid, hey everybody, I'm scared, hey everybody, life is negative, something bad is gonna happen to me, etc., right? These be energy signatures that people be putting out there, but they don't know they're doing it, right? But the reason why they're doing it is because it's coming from an internal space, from a root cause. There's a root cause to these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when we were born, we were just like a clean slate. You know, we're just a clean slate, and then we just got programmed, conditioned to be whatever that we are being right now. You know, and if that programming, if that sense of being is not serving our highest possible good, then, you know, it becomes an important cause of action to remove these things out of our subconscious, out of our mind, and put something else in there. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, like we're literally interpreting reality based upon wherever we are at emotionally and mentally. Like reality is just what it is. You know what I'm saying? We interpret it based upon where we're at. You know, that's one of the important things, right? So imagine if you lived from a subconscious place of abundance. Of course, this reprogramming would take time. But when you are able to get there, life becomes more easy and effortless from the perspective of you no longer being in a low vibrational space type shit like that, right? Where when I say life becomes more easily and effortless, is that a lot of the times it's easy and it's effortless for people to be in a low vibration, because that's where their subconscious is programmed to be at, right? But if a person actually goes through what's needed to reprogram their mind and shit like that, and put themselves in a more abundant space via taking action and modifying what's on their mind and shit like that, right? You'll be able to slide into that reality that you're looking to experience much, much more easily, right? And here's the thing: a lot of these low vibrational energies are associated with things like fear, worry, doubt, shame, guilt. It's this space or state of being that prevents most people from taking action, because people feel within themselves like, oh, I can't have that, I can't be that. But if a person would just take action, you would prove to these internal entities that are dwelling within you in the form of thought forms, and you know, you would start to prove to yourself that now you're capable of so much more and stuff like that, and your brain would literally start to reconfigure and rewire itself when you're taking action. That's why it's really, really important to have the love of the truth. Like, you have to have the love of the truth. And what I mean by that is, loving the truth is like understanding, okay, I'm not going to lie to myself about where I'm at and why I'm there. And I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm going to work on it every day. I'm going to take action every day, right? And when you do that, that's when like life changes, just by simply taking action and just by modifying what's on your mind, the thoughts and feelings that's on our mind and shit like that, right? That's carrying our reality, because we're the ones that's observing it. And if that's what we're observing, the observer determines what is observed. And so if a person is observing a bunch of fear, a bunch of worry, a bunch of shame, and a bunch of guilt, then surely they're gonna manifest circumstances and situations where they will experience those low vibrations and shit like that, right? Yeah. When people are in a low vibrational state of being, it plays out as resistance towards any person, place, or thing that resembles the opposite of that, because people internally are aligned with a non-benevolent vibration, which is just basically a misalignment. When you align your chakras or mind with the reality you would like to experience, you start to shift mentally, perception-wise, consistently enough, your view of self and life changes. And when you take massive action, you literally recalibrate your mind. Just understand that your mind will try to create scenarios in your head to stay just like that, because the mind and the body want to survive by staying in the familiar pattern. So when you do let's say for example, right, when I'm taking action on certain things, my mind will create scenarios, thoughts and feelings about, what if this happens, blah blah. But the goal is not to really give a fuck. The goal is just to take action regardless, because that's when that neurological network becomes weaker and weaker and shit like that. Then something else starts to take place, where even nervousness becomes excitement, where it's like, okay, your mind and body start to retrain themselves to experience reality from a more high vibrational space versus a low vibrational space. And that's the goal. That's the whole point of this channel, is to not only help myself, because every day I make these videos for me, so I can recalibrate and shift on a daily basis to the reality that I want to experience, and not the one that I've been psychologically conditioned to accept as the norm. Because once something is normalized, we just tend to accept it for as it is. But is it really normal, or has it been normalized? For some reason, for some people, like being successful and shit like that, it's just normal. Like shit like that. It's just crazy. But yeah, with that being said, I'm still feeling a little under the weather, so my bad if this video didn't have the usual energy that I usually bring in it. Still got a feeling under the weather, so I'm still recalibrating and shit like that myself. Yeah. With that being said, everybody, peace out. I'm going to see you on tomorrow's video. Peace.